where no man has gone before.
And so I looked around, and in this back room that I could see at the other end of the restaurant, there was an ancient black and white set. And I was on the air as Captain Kirk in this little tiny town in the Caspian Sea.
Obviously, it is a powerful PR factor for nations. Whether it's a good thing for the world to become homogenized, obviously not. Whether it's a good thing for the world to have more common points of reference, obviously yes. It depends which it is.
I don't believe in countries or states or things like that. Those are all feudal boundaries that don't exist in an electronic society. We're all in this together, you know.
Sunshine on the water looks so lovely.
Thanks to television, we all seem to wear the same clothes and sing the same songs.
Sunshine.
A John Denver look-alike competition being held not in Nashville, but 10,000 miles away in Manila, capital of the Philippines. Up to 80% of peak time programs in the Philippines are imported from the USA. Audiences worldwide respond to the skills of American television. But it's the web of commercial and cultural power that accompanies television exports which has fueled concern about this new global empire. An empire which has recently discovered a massive new prospect. Today, China is living through what may be the world's most dramatic television explosion. Alongside the overturning new developments of China's recent consumer revolution, after years of virtual stagnation, television has suddenly taken off. With 6.5 million sets a year being produced in China, the People's Republic is now estimated to have 45 million viewers and a potential audience of 600 million people. In December 1984, America's CBS network began showing 64 hours of its programs on Chinese television. The huge new Chinese audience will see, amongst other things, TV movies and American football. At the same time, CBS has retained all rights to sell 5 minutes per hour of commercial advertising to American companies. CBS calls this commercial diplomacy. I think that on the whole, even bad TV is better than no TV, because it does show people, how other countries can live, what standards of life are possible, and in between they learn a great deal about the world around them.
You can't turn it off any more than if the air is polluted, you can stop breathing. Television has become the mainstream of our culture. If you turn it off, you're just out of it.
For these people, the power of television has a special meaning, somewhere between surreal farce and spoof religion. They're the Couch Potatoes, a group of television addicts in Berkeley, California, who've developed their obsession into a stupefied cult, cherishing vintage TV and celebrating multiple viewing accompanied by endless TV meals. And of course, in the process, they've refined their creed for visiting TV crews.
The Couch Potatoes are out to abolish guilt associated with too much TV watching. Actually, there's never enough. We believe in the concept of prolonged viewing as much as you can. There's never enough.
Perfect easy. I'd say it should be about 66 degrees. The cable should be good and clear. Have plenty of red wine and beer. And absolute silence except from the television. That's a perfect evening.
I want to apologize. I'm sorry I did not know anything.
Take it to him. Thank you.
The news when it happens.
Good evening, viewers. In the news tonight, Mrs. Thatcher calls for a midterm poll in Britain on the 9th next month, a year ahead of schedule.
There's no government anywhere that is tackling the problem.
Kinnock's off to a fast start in Labour's leadership race.
Up on it, hit the card. We'll make it out.
According to the pollsters, President
most of the people, by all the polls that I've seen, say they get most of the information about what's going on in the world today from television. Whether that's good or bad is beside the point. That's where the action is.
Because I have a son that's going to go into the army.
Cream cakes in the box, I think. That's great. Well, be careful what we put weight on.
It's possible for an event to take place in Sydney, and an hour later the pictures could be seen in Washington. Television news, being so fast especially, I think creates a whole new news interest. The old proverb, a picture speaks 1,000 words. You have people seeing the event rather than reading about it.
Television is changing what we know and when we know it. Until the modern television age, this was always jealously guarded by politicians. Now, governments themselves fall on television.
And so we leave with high hopes, in good spirit, and with deep humility. Thank you very much.
Belfast, nothing is simple. This fire broke out, apparently deliberately started. Fire was opened up just down the road.
There are very few events that are natural events that aren't shaped in one way or another to attract the attention of television. The president has press conferences at certain hours where he can get a maximum audience.
I've invited Soviet Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Andrei Gromyko to meet with me at the White House on September 28th.
Every punchline is designed to fit into television.
Let me try this. Sono molto contento di essere qui.
This is what £1 would buy for the housewife in groceries at the end of the Tory government.
The same thing is true of special interest groups, good ones and bad ones. It's true of everybody that wants to get their views or their faces or their organizations well known.
Most parades and demonstrations take place in the afternoon, in time to make the evening news.
One sees bedraggled groups outside nuclear stations or pits or whatever, but the numbers will grow enormously if they think there's a chance of being on the 9 o'clock or the 10 o'clock news. Yeah, that's a real problem.
Rockets take off in prime time. Astronauts do tricks for the evening news. And the shuttle has to touch down in a live news show.
Down.
Even the IRA explode their bombs at 4 o'clock to make the 6 o'clock news.
If we only covered what happens naturally and without trying to attract our attention, all we'd ever cover is hurricanes and volcanoes.
It has been shown to be a medium of shock rather than a medium of explanation, of exposure rather than exposition, of emotion rather than an intellect. This is because of the intensity of its picture quality. It is a tabloid medium.
We want to take you live now up to the northwestern part of Marion County, up to the intersection of Highway 465 and Northwestern Avenue, where you can see a major traffic accident. We do know that it is a fatal accident. We have crews on the scene. If you're expecting anyone coming home through that intersection, I'm now told that one person is confirmed dead and 2 people were injured.
This marvelous, exciting medium must not just consist of bloody good pictures. It's got a responsibility to society, to our children, and not to spread violence or unreason.
Look here, incredible, isn't it? It's a 4-wheel drive vehicle with 5 people that went in. Look at that girl. She was just absolutely scared to death, and you can see that the water doesn't look like it's going very fast, but it's really moving. The problem is that when people go in the river, usually they drown.
it has been allowed to spread violence and unreason too much. I think violent action, a riot, a sit-down, a visual rowdy protest has been the ticket to the television screen.
The test isn't whether it's good news or bad news. The test is it news? There's nothing we'd rather do than have nothing but good news, which means that civilization and humanity are making advances. But it has to happen before we can treat it as news.
But when Japanese television later replayed the stabbing of this politician in slow motion, all the violence was coming from television itself.
Then Governor Connolly is shot.
He's already been hit.
He's already been hit. At the bottom of the screen, the headshot.
That's the shot that blew up his head.
It's the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in the movie. Oh, God, that's awful.
Heavy viewing of television violence can make you feel more insecure, can make you accept repressive measures. We have studied the effect of television on the political orientation of viewers. The more people watch television, the more they will agree or favor repression and limitation of personal rights.
Dissent is a necessary ingredient of change.
So violence can make viewers support law and order. Richard Nixon was aware of this when he put images of urban destruction into his election commercials for television.
That the first civil right of every American is to be free from domestic violence. So I pledge to you, we shall have order in the United States.
This appeals to fearful and insecure people, and historically it has been one of the most favorite ways of controlling people, of saying, there's the enemy, and I'm going to protect you, just support me.
Images of violence might make some viewers more right-wing. In Vietnam, pictures of violence produced the opposite effect. People wanted the war stopped.
War is hell, great American general said. That was rhetoric until Vietnam. You saw that war. I think if your country had seen World War I on television, World War I might not have lasted as long as it did. The television war, the war went on for 12 years of it. Half of it was on television every night. The war became an electronic war. For better or worse, the electronic hearth was where history was being made. And this country will never be the same again. I don't think the world that has television will ever be that way again.
Of course, it's the most powerful thing in the world. It's not as powerful in this country as it is elsewhere. I mean, it's immensely powerful in Africa. Whatever goes on television is believed still there.
But another alternative and convenient method of preparing it is to collect people.
If television is so powerful, should politicians ever trust it? President Marcos of the Philippines thought not.
Television right now in the Philippines is prostituted. It is an instrument of power to maintain this regime.
And in commemorating this occasion, President Marcos is spending the day with the farmer population in a 2-hour dialogue.
And when martial law was declared, all the television channels were closed down. At that time, we had 6. They were all closed down, except the one that Marcos controlled.
So the slum dwellers of Manila are fed propaganda speeches and kept quiet with American-style game shows.
We had a very good program for the poor, and that was a very, very strong program presenting people who needed something. And it was doing very, very well. But finally, she was banished from the air because Imelda said there are no poor in the Philippines. So you cannot have a program for the poor because there aren't any.
The TV satellite, and this is something that many politicians are not pleased about, is that this will penetrate all frontiers. You cannot keep out communications from space, although attempts have been made to limit and restrict satellite communications. This is going to be totally impossible. Satellites don't recognize frontiers, and whatever the politicians can say, this has already been settled by the engineers.
As Reagan
story is coming from New York. It's a regular satellite transmission which comes into Europe at 10:30 in the morning. Is recorded in Brussels and played out again to the Eurovision network. What we're seeing here is Reagan's State of the Union address.
This is the power of television. In the Moscow newsroom, they are watching the American Defense Secretary discuss live President Reagan's message.
The one thing that the President wants more than anything else are real, significant, and major reductions in arms on both sides.
For the moment, live and dangerous remarks like this can be videotaped for party members only. But one day soon, the Soviet authorities will have to contend with viewers with their own satellite receivers.
It's very hard for me to estimate what the Soviets will do. I would think that they would see that it's enormously to their interest to make reductions too, that they could improve the quality of life for their citizens if they...
They'll block it by every means available to them. Their economy is all to blazes and having a very rough time. I should think they've got enough technology to know how to block any kind of program that they don't want their people to hear, which is sad, really.
Сегодня член Политбюро ЦК КПСС, первый заместитель председателя